Welcome to the International Volleyball Academy, where a successful coach and a professional volleyball player teach you how to be a good volleyball player. Volleyball basically has a very simple scheme. You must receive the ball after your opponent serves, set, and attack. That's very easy to say, but much harder to do.
The very first one, to receive a serve, often at speeds of over 100 kilometers per hour, is quite a challenge. That's what the previous episode of our academy was about. I hope you saw it and paid attention. In it, we talked about how to practice receiving. But volleyball is first and foremost a game, and training is not just drill, but also gameplay. This episode is all about preparatory games focusing on the receiving and bump pass.
Every coach knows the situation when he has the minimum number of players in training. This does not justify him to cancel the training, but on the contrary, it gives him considerable opportunities to focus on the individual development of the player. That's why we start this episode with one-on-one warm-up games. First, we include a two-contact game of bump, pass and set. Even young children can do this. Then comes the bump, pass and attacking sequence, and that takes some skill.
We had already agreed to take the lesson from the tennis players that the wall is the best teacher. That's why it's a perfect fit for us now. This game isn't easy either, but you'll see that if you're consistent, you can make it. The 12-year-old girls will master it, and it will do them great service in the future.
There are already more of us at practice, for example 8, but we'll be playing 2-on-2 games because of our main topic, alternating pairs each time the ball goes over. First, we'll incorporate a 3-contact game, with the first 2 contact bump, pass and set, and the attack is done by the second player. This is then followed by a bump, pass and set sequence by the first player and an attacking over the net by the second player. We have already explained why the first player has to play twice.
The setting above you enhances calm arm work and prevents arm flapping. Remember? The basic mantra of the bump pass. Active legs, calm arms.
Let's carry this principle over for the next wall exercise. The wall is ruthless and does not lie, but it is fair. It gives you true feedback on how you're controlling the ball. As a reminder, this is a game, so you need to define the playing area. Those are the rubber tiles on the ground. Then comes the classic 3-contact game, with the attacking being made from the ground without a jump so far.
And we're back on the pitch again. This time there are 6 of us, 3 players on each side, but only 2 are actively involved in the game. And the one who attacked over the net leaves the pitch, performs a movement task, and a third takes her place. The movement task is not difficult. It is included again to take away valuable time from the players. It is not demanding, but we don't want the players to be idle and to realize that even if they are not in direct contact with the ball, they have to participate in the game. This is one of the other important principles of volleyball. Even when there is no threat of contact with the ball, I am still in the game and must perform other, seemingly anonymous tasks. Since in this case the game is played on a small area, from the point of view of the bump pass, it is a free ball receiving.
And for the last time, we're going to the wall, this time in 3s. Thanks to the speed of the ball, the girls don't spare each other. This game serves to develop the receiving of the fast ball. In addition, the ball often comes in really low, reminiscent of the situation of covering your own attacker when hitting against a block. We will use this skill in the future. At first, the girls attacked from the ground without jumping, and in the finals, we let them jump. Here we go. The ball is coming really fast. We've kind of forgotten about the boys component. These are 11 years old, and like proper boys, they always prefer to play rather than practice drills.
we need to move on, which means we are getting to a foursome game on a 9x9-meter court. We play 3 mandatory contacts. We don't jump while attacking, so again, it's a free ball reception. And as always, we steal time from the girls by making them roll or roll out of the court after the ball has crossed the net and flash back to their starting positions. Well done. In situations like this, they both always have to react. It often happens that the girls give each other priority.
In the next game, the girls perform a tactical task. Firstly, the 2 outside setters always change places after the ball is gone, and secondly, it is the duty of the setters to always set behind their heads, which means that, still without a jump, they must obligatorily attack from the right. And then comes the game in which jumping is allowed in the attack, but only behind the 3-meter line for the time being, because we are playing with 4 and defending the attack from the net would be complicated in this number for the time being. This game combines the receiving of the free ball with the receiving of the fast ball, depending on the strength of the opposing team's attack.
We are very close to a volleyball game here. This entire episode is focused on games that are related to bump pass or receiving a serve, but these cannot be separated from other activities as in the 3rd and 4th episodes of our International Volleyball Academy. Moreover, receiving is always just part of a chain. Sometimes it is followed by a spike, but at other times it might be followed by covering one's own attacker or other collateral activities. This is why we took so much care in the 3rd, 4th, and 10th episodes to establish the correct movement pattern of the bump pass, including the movement of the legs, so that the children develop a correct automatic movement pattern, not a habit. This correct habit is now being applied by the girls in the changing conditions of the game. They are only 13 years old, and you can see that they are mastering this exercise without any problem. After all, similar games are played with popularity in the adult category.
And this is where the game starts with the serve, which means that we are really close to real match conditions. Receiving serve, setting, attacking, and the game continues on the other side. Everything we have been practicing so far is starting to take the form of real volleyball. In this drill, we also add a block. This alerts us to the fact that we will soon have to include a segment on the basics of blocking.
And then there are the games for variety. First of all, a game with 2 balls in a small area. It must be said these girls are not good at it yet, but players at an older age are already able to create original strategies for such games. And in this variant, there are again 2 balls, but on a large area, with the possibility to play after hitting the ground. These games are not of great importance for receiving serves, but they provide a much-needed variation.
We mentioned how important part of volleyball is receiving the serve. Its foundation is to handle a fast-flying ball with a bump pass. After the drills in this episode, we come to the bump pass preparatory games. We figured that the small number of players at practice offered us new training opportunities. We demonstrated one-on-one games, both over the net and against the wall, and analogous games of 2 against 2, 3 against 3, and 4 against 4. We are still a long way from actually playing volleyball, but these preparatory games are an essential part of learning volleyball. We consider an activity mastered only when it is demonstrated in a real game.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode and got a lot of inspiration for your own games. In the next episode, we will focus on spiking. You have a lot to look forward to. See you next week.